Pope Francis reflected once again on the theme of discernment during his Wednesday general audience at the Vatican. Addressing the thousands of faithful in attendance and the many more watching around the world, the Pope made the point that a person must know themselves first before being able to properly discern. He said we all have the temptation to wear a mask in front of others, but even in front of ourselves. So he encouraged people to examine their conscience and admitted, though, that taking off the mask and finding out who you really are is not an easy thing to do, as it requires a lot of soul searching. But he said it is possible. On October the 4th, the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi, who, in addition to his name, inspired the Pope's commitment to care for the common good of the earth, the Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Parolin, announced that the Holy See had joined the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The Paris Agreement is an international treaty signed by member states of the United Nations, which aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions over a certain period of time. With the Paris Agreement, countries renewed their commitment to climate action and agreed on new targets to accelerate efforts to limit global warming. Pope Francis features in a new documentary film on climate change and the environment that premiered at the Vatican on Tuesday, the 4th of October. The documentary is called The Letter and can be streamed for free on YouTube Originals starting October the 4th. It follows a climate activist, an indigenous leader, a climate refugee, and married marine biologists as they travel from various corners of the world to the Vatican to speak to Pope Francis. The film includes video from the meeting with Pope Francis, as well as never-before-seen footage from Francis's papal inauguration on March 19th, 2013.
Obviously, one of the main topics, one of the main issues of this pontificate is preserving the environment, preserving creation. What are your hopes for this movie, for The Letter?
Well, I hope that I see the Laudato Si and Pope Francis's message a bit like a self-help message for all of us. We all want to know what we can do, and that's a tricky thing, and it's up to each individual to find what they can do to contribute to climate change, whether it's through their voting or the way that they behave, or indeed get involved in some kind of a movement to protect the planet, conserve biodiversity. It really is the greatest issue facing humanity. We know now that future generations will suffer if we don't do something and the planet continues to heat up. And as we know from science, any heating that has already existed is going to continue for centuries to come. So the urgency is there, and now we have some of the moral tools as well as the scientific tools to work together on this project.
The Pontifical Lateran University is a prestigious university based in the center of Rome. It was founded in 1773 by Pope Clement XIV after the union of the then Roman Seminary and the School of Theology of the Roman College. The university became very renowned and was frequented by saints and popes, and was also known as the University of the Pope after a historic speech there in 1980 by Pope John Paul II. Well, now it is celebrating 250 years since its founding. It did this with a special Mass that was celebrated on October the 5th and was presided over by Cardinal Vicar Angelo de Donatatis. The Vatican has announced that Pope Francis will celebrate Mass in St. Peter's Basilica on October the 11th to mark the 60th anniversary of the opening of the Second Vatican Council. The date also marks the feast day of St. John the 23rd, the Pope who opened the Council in 1962 and who Pope Francis declared a saint during his first year of his papacy. Pope Francis has been a strong advocate for implementing the changes called for in Vatican II, which align with his vision for a church that is close to the people. I'm Colin Flynn for EWTN Vatican. Thank you for watching.